I'm Pradeep, and this is our first meetup of Eko Developer Community. This is going to be a kind of a casual event, no need to be formal, and we are recording the audio of this event. But if you want any of the part of this meeting removed, do share with us after the event. And it is kind of a private event, as you can see. Only some of us are here. And why are we having this event? So there are many developers who are building with Eko APIs. We want to support them via this channel, which is community led. So what I mean by that, there are no kind of support or sales people here. Only developers are here, and we have built with Eko APIs, so I can help someone else. Or if you know answer to some questions, you can help other people as well. Other than that, the key theme that we all are working on is Fintech. So learning what's new happening in Fintech, that will be another thing that we can do here. Other than that, you can showcase what you are building with Eko APIs. And then there could be other community activities as well. But all in all, the summary of why we are doing this, because we want to build Eko together. We want to build apps with Eko together. And this will help Eko to learn how we can build better APIs, how we can provide better developer experience. At the same time, it will help developers who are joining this community ship their Eko apps faster. So this is the summary, and and I'm your host, Pradeep. We will just chat about things, and there are people from Eko team as well. So first of all, we will start with introduction, and then after that, I will ask some questions, and if you have any questions to other people, you can ask that as well. And do feel free to jump in the conversation. It's a discussion. It's not a webinar or a workshop kind of thing. If you have any questions regarding Eko APIs, you can ask them. If you have any questions, just casual question to anyone in the team, do ask them. So let's get started with the introduction part now. So let me start first. I'm Pradeep. I used to work at Eko. That was my first job after college, and as an engineer. And I guess that was the time. It was almost a decade back when we were thinking about Eko Connect platform. And I worked a little bit on that. We started that project. Now what you see in Eko Connect might be a lot different, but that was my experience with the initial versions of Eko Connect. And now I have seen, I recently saw that Eko has grown a lot, and we have multiple products that people are using, the developers are using to build their fintech systems. So you can say my experience with Eko is something like someone new who is building right now. So these new things that have come up, so I will be asking questions. You can say that they will match with someone who is just starting out with the Eko. Okay, so that's I'm okay about me. As you know that I worked with Eko. Other than that, I come from Rajasthan, and I love to play chess, and yeah, I love to watch web series, movies, and so on. So let's who would want to go next and introduce themselves?
I'll go. Hey guys, it's Vikrant here. Vikrant Singh. I'm a Eko developer for about I think more than 2 years now. So I'm a typical Java developer. I handle all sort of development in the backend side. Your APIs and any changes are being done by me, at least on the recent side, for all the APIs products. Whether I started off with the BUPS API development that you guys can see on your API like developer portal. Then I had made some enhancement on the pre-existing APIs of APS and DMT as well. Yeah, prior to this experience, I worked with like Samsung and Innovision. I hail from IT Dhanbad, and currently I'm at my hometown, Varanasi. Other than coding and working, you'll find me on Netflix. I keep binging on that. We can probably discuss that on the chit chat channel. If you have any other question, if you have any other queries, suggestion even, please hit me up.
Awesome, great. Thanks, Vikrant, for the intro. Who would want to go next? Actually, before we move on to the next person, is there someone who is just starting with the Eko APIs and maybe don't understand these keywords that we are using? No? Okay, okay. Okay, who would want to go next? Pooja?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Pooja. I lead people here. I've been with Echo for almost a decade now, and glad to meet you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja.
I will nominate Jitin.
Thank you, Pooja. Hi, everyone. I am Jitin. I have been associated with Echo for last 2 years. I basically head inside sales with Echo. Prior to this, I was working with the Welex, and I again similar. I think we have similar hobbies. I also like to binge watch. Most of the time, when I am free and not doing or probably not working, I do Netflix, Amazon, and all the apps. So that's my favorite time pass.
Great, awesome. See, Sangeeta, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I am Sangeeta Chauhan, and I am here in Eko managing the loan section. And I'm in Eko from like 2021. It's been 1.5 years here, and I like to do coding and spending time with my family. And yeah, that's all.
Awesome. Thank you, Sangeeta. So, Abhishek, Abhinav, would you like to go next? Although you don't need any introduction. Priyanka?
गुड इवनिंग। मेरा नाम अभिषेक है। मैं अभिनव के साथ एको का को फाउंडर हूँ। हम लोग ने एको 2007 सितंबर में शुरू किया। मैं बहुत ही एक्साइटेड हूँ कि प्रदीप ने हम लोग को मदद करके ये इनिशिएटिव किक ऑफ करवाया है। 2017 में हम लोग का जितना ग्रोथ हुआ, that was directly proportional to the number of software developers we ended up engaging with. And so it is very important for us to recreate that success. And that success can only be created अगर हम developers से और strongly engage करें, उनके साथ collaborate करें। तो ये मेरी बहुत इच्छा है कि हम लोग एक बड़ा developer community बना सकें। जहाँ तक कि एको की बात है, एको छोटे छोटे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ काम करता है अक्रॉस द कंट्री, और हम लोग का विजन है कि इन छोटे माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए एको शुड बी देयर प्रेफर्ड प्लेटफॉर्म और देयर प्रेफर्ड इकोनॉमिक इंजन, बिकॉज वी आर द वंस हु आर प्रेजेंटिंग देम विद अर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज। साथ ही में हम लोग वैसे ब्रांड्स के साथ काम करते हैं जिनको कि रीच चाहिए टू द लो एंड मॉडरेट इनकम कस्टमर्स, जिनको कि आजकल नेक्स्ट बिलियन बोला जाता है। सो वी वांट टू क्रिएट दैट रीच, एंड अगर इतना बड़ा मिशन हम लोग लेके चलेंगे तो सिर्फ एको के डेवलपर्स तो सारा इनोवेशन का भार नहीं उठा सकते। वी विल हैव टू फिगर आउट अ वे, in a creative way, where external developers, partners can also take on the burden of innovation. Sorry for this disturbance. मेरे यहाँ 2 डॉग्स हैं, ज्वाला और गौरी। और मैं बिंज वॉच तो नहीं करता हूँ, मैं सीरीज नहीं देखता हूँ, बट मैं मूवीज बहुत देखता हूँ और बहुत रेगुलरली देखता हूँ। थैंक यू।
अमेजिंग, थैंक यू अभिषेक। अभिनव? अमन हमारे साथ में। अमन, क्या आप सुन पा रहे हो? ओके, ऑसम। तो ओके, आई थिंक अमन को सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है और अभिनव का भी शायद कुछ माइक का इशू हुआ। ओके, सो वी विल मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट पार्ट। अच्छा, सब लोग यहाँ पे मूवीज और बिंज वॉच की बात कर रहे हैं, तो व्हाई नॉट शेयर कि अभी रिसेंटली आपने कौन सा सीरीज देखा या फिर मूवी देखा जो आपको पसंद भी आया हो। तो मैंने अभी एक मूवी देखा PS1, जो कि आई थिंक तेलुगु या तमिल में है, बट मैं सब टाइटल्स में देखा था इंग्लिश में, और काफ़ी अच्छा लगा मुझे। तो और बाकी लोग क्या देख रहे हैं अभी?
I've been longing to see that movie, man. I missed it on theaters, but Abhi Prime, I think only Telugu and other versions are there. Hindi version is not there, so I'm waiting for that, or I will just pirate. I was just seeing this how to sell drugs online fast. This is a TV series. I know sounds like
So how
dubious,
to start drug cartel?
something like that. But the actual title is How to Sell Drugs Online Fast. So it's a like story of a teenager who's trying to sell drugs online. Like he's like drug sorry, tech startup kind of teenager. He's trying to follow I don't know Mark Zuckerberg, but he's selling drugs in the dark web. It's just an interesting story, a little bit of techie kind of with a little bit of techie background. I think most of us can relate, all the techies. Um, so third season just came out, and I was just trying to see that. I haven't quite got the time, but planning on finishing that soon.
Right. There is a lot to learn from drug mafia for entrepreneurs and techies. I also read a book on the same line. Okay, who else is watching any other web series, movies?
Hi everyone. I've recently glued myself to Empire. It's a history podcast by William Dalrymple and Anita Anand. Quite an interesting take on Indian history and some of the great leaders, partition. So highly recommended to everybody. Amazing series.
वाह, आज के कॉल में एटलीस्ट हमारे पास में रिकमेंडेशन तो आ जाएंगे नेक्स्ट की क्या। हाँ,
Actually.
और कुछ होना हो। ओके, कूल। और कोई एनी अदर रिकमेंडेशंस?
I have recently started Manifest 4. There are 3 seasons that I've already seen. This is the 4th season recently on Netflix. So it's an amazing series. I think I loved it. It's more of a science fiction kind of series. So I like science fiction. So again, I'll recommend people to watch it.
इंटरेस्टिंग। सब हिंदी में कोई नहीं देख रहे। मैंने जैसे अभी पंचायत देखा था, वेब सीरीज।
वो बहुत पुराना हो गया।
पुराना हो गया थोड़ा, लेकिन मीम्स काफ़ी बनते हैं। और अभी मैं एक्चुअली में ये अभी अपनी कम्युनिटी के लिए सोच रहा था, तो ज़्यादातर वही मीम्स मेरे दिमाग में आते हैं। जैसे कि एक वो आ रहा था कि विनोद देख रहा है ना, यहाँ पे ये धीरे धीरे करके हमें कुछ सेल करना चाह रहे हैं कम्युनिटी में। तो दैट काइंड ऑफ मीम, जो कि काइंड ऑफ सटायर हो। और
As I,
मिर्जापुर पे
I just
काफ़ी मीम्स बने हैं। हाँ जी।
But I just thought कि this could be used like a one person encashing money from ATM and like queuing up on ATM and साइड में एक बंदा जाता है और एको के स्टोर से पैसे निकाल ले रहा है, तो देख रहा है ना फिनो कैसे पैसे निकाल लिए, समथिंग लाइक दैट।
अरे ये मीम्स वी मेड दिस, आई थिंक वी शुड अभी तो चिट चैट में ही डाल सकते हैं, बट मे बी लेटर ऑन वी विल क्रिएट अ डेडिकेटेड चैनल फॉर मीम्स। ओके, सो ओके सॉरी, अभी नेक्स्ट उस पे बढ़ते हैं। मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस लेके आया हूँ and I want that a story comes out of this call. Story about our team, about Echo engineering team, story about what Echo does. है नहीं हमारे साथ में कोई ऐसे कम्युनिटी मेंबर या एग्जिस्टिंग डेवलपर्स, बट वी विल यूज दिस कंटेंट एंड शेयर दिस ऑन यूट्यूब और अलग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे, एंड होपफुली विद दैट वी विल कनेक्ट विद डेवलपर्स जो कि अपनी स्टोरी शेयर करना चाहेंगे ऐसे अपने मीटअप में। तो सबसे पहला चीज़ तो मैं यही जानना चाहूँगा कि लेट्स अभिषेक से या अभिनव से जानना चाहूँगा कि tell us, like you were already talking about this, tell us the turning point of Echo. 15 साल से we have been doing amazing things. We have been pioneer in this कैश ट्रांसफ़र करना ऐसी जगह पे जहाँ पे लोगों के पास बैंक अकाउंट नहीं है, लोग पढ़े लिखे नहीं हैं, और अभी काफ़ी ग्रो हो चुका है, काफ़ी चेंज हो चुका है एको जो ऑफ़र करता है, और काफ़ी सारे नए प्रोडक्ट्स आ गए हैं, खास करके जो एक ही एको एपीआईज हैं, एको प्लेटफॉर्म सर्विसेज हैं। तो ओवरऑल ये जो 15-16 साल की जो जर्नी रही है उसमें व्हाट वाज द टर्निंग पॉइंट फॉर एको?
तो जब अभिनव और मैंने एको शुरू किया तो हम लोग इस आइडिया पे 2006-07 से काम कर रहे हैं, और हम लोग की जो पिछली स्टार्टअप थी उसमें हम लोग प्रीपेड टेलीफोनी का प्लेटफॉर्म बनाते थे, और ये हम लोग को देख के बहुत ही एक्साइटिंग, हम लोग तो सिर्फ सॉफ्टवेयर बनाते थे, बट जब कस्टमर से बात करने का मौका लगा और फिर एंड कस्टमर से बात करने का मौका लगा, तो ये बहुत ही फैसिनेटिंग लगा कि एक ऐसे कस्टमर को जिसको कि बैंकिंग की सुविधाएं नहीं मिली हुई है, जो सिर्फ फीचर फोन पे है, स्मार्टफोन पे नहीं है। खैर उन दिनों तो स्मार्टफोन होते भी नहीं थे। उनके लिए मोबाइल नेटवर्क ऑपरेटर्स हैड फिगर्ड आउट अ वे टू रीच आउट टू देम, एंड सो यू कुड वॉक इनटू अ रिटेल स्टोर जो कि आपके घर के बगल में हो या आपके काम करने की जगह के बगल में हो, और वहां जाके आपको सिम कार्ड मिल सकता था, और वहीं जाके आप अपना सिम कार्ड को रिचार्ज करा सकते थे। दैट वाज वेरी वेरी फैसिनेटिंग कि कैसे एक एक डाइवर्स कस्टमर बेस को, जो कि बहुत सैवी नहीं है, बहुत लिटरेट नहीं है, बट इकोनॉमिकली एक्टिव है, मोबाइल फ़ोन एक बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट टूल है उनके लिए फॉर देयर इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी, उनको वो सोर्स कर रहे थे। और तो जब इन कस्टमर्स से हम लोग ने बात किया तो ये तो बहुत ही ऑब्वियस गैप दिखा कि भाई इनके पास बैंकिंग का एक्सेस ही नहीं है। तो वी सेड कि व्हाई नॉट we envisage banking the way mobile network operators have envisaged prepaid telephony. तो उसी दुकान पे जहां सिम कार्ड मिल रहा है, उसी दुकान पे कस्टमर आके अपना बैंक अकाउंट खोल ले, और जैसे मोबाइल टॉप अप करता है, सिमिलर मैकेनिज्म से अपने बैंक अकाउंट में पैसा जमा कर ले या निकाल ले। एंड दैट्स हाउ एको गॉट स्टार्टेड. And in our journey, what we discovered is that the role of this retailer is very important. This retailer is from within the community of this customer base. And so they are very effective resellers, influencers, assistance providers. People, कई लोग होते हैं ना जो कि ऐप भी नहीं हैंडल कर पाते हैं, बट दीज आर पीपल हु आर अर्ली अडॉप्टर्स. तो ये लोग दूसरों को, अपने ही कम्युनिटी में दूसरों को हेल्प कर देते हैं, असिस्टेंस प्रोवाइड कर देते हैं. तो दैट वाज जस्ट वेरी वेरी फैसिनेटिंग. तो हम लोग को लगा कि भाई जब हम बैंक्स जैसे ब्रांड्स को एक नेक्स्ट बिलियन कस्टमर तक ले जा पा रहे हैं थ्रू दिस नेटवर्क ऑफ माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स who are playing the role of an influencer, reseller, assistance provider, and so on, तो हम और भी ब्रांड्स को ले जा सकते हैं। और फिर हम लोग ने एग्रीगेटर्स से के साथ काम किया, तो यूटिलिटी प्रोवाइडर्स के लिए को हम लोग ने ऐड किया, मोबाइल नेटवर्क ऑपरेटर्स को ऐड किया। तो आज के दिन में आप एको का जो माइक्रो रिटेलर है, माइक्रो एंटरप्रेन्योर है, वो अपने कस्टमर बेस को कई सर्विसेज का एक्सेस दे सकता है। बैंकिंग इज वन, बट पेइंग यूटिलिटी बिल पेमेंट्स, doing recharge and so on. And so I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have now close to 2000 or little over 2000 brands for whom we are doing this. Some are brands who are available across the country, and then there are, of course, some regional brands like the regional utility providers.
That's
Now we have also started to work with other brands who are also providing physical products, and one such brand is Prabhu Shri Ram Agarbatti. So, but जो टर्निंग पॉइंट रहा प्रदीप, वो रहा 2015 में, जब हम लोग को लगा कि भाई स्केल करना चाहिए। हम लोग कई दिन से सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, नेटवर्क को ऑर्गेनिकली ग्रो कर रहे हैं, but there should be a way to grow it lot more inorganically and lot more rapidly. And that's where we took a lot of inspiration from Android. गूगल ने एंड्रॉयड के साथ क्या किया कि भाई उन्होंने ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम को ही ओपन सोर्स कर दिया, तो उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मैसिव हो गया। बहुत सारे लोग डिवाइस मैन्युफैक्चरर्स ने एंड्रॉयड ओएस अडॉप्ट कर लिया। So device manufacturers are in many ways the network acquirers. They are the ones who are acquiring the end Android customer, चाहे वो मोबाइल का कस्टमर हो, चाहे स्मार्ट वॉच का कस्टमर हो। So he said कि भाई the retailers or the API partners can also be our network aggregators or network acquirers who can further build out this network of micro entrepreneurs. And that was the turning point when we opened up APIs. And I think now we got to take this to the next level, where we need to collaborate a lot more closely with the developers and open up our platform a lot more for much wider scale, rapid scale, and even geographic scale. हम सिर्फ हिंदुस्तान के बारे में क्यों सोचें, हम हिंदुस्तान के बियॉन्ड भी सोच सकते हैं।
Got it. Awesome. Great. And yes, I agree. If we want to build big, we need to build it together. It takes a village to build a product like Eko, and building something that is on a scale of Android takes millions of engineers or millions of people to come together. And I think with Eko platform services and APIs, we are going in that right direction, and this community can be that sort of central place where all the developers who want to take this ahead, they can come together and contribute. Okay, so that was great. Thanks, Abhishek, for sharing this. Okay, now do we have someone from I guess we have Vikrant from engineering team, right? Is there anyone else? Okay, so this question is to Vikrant only, to engineering team at Eko. What tech stack do we have?
I mean, for the reference of our API developers, for the making our APIs, we only work with Java. Like we have some legacy projects, legacy builds that are running in Strut framework. I don't know a lot of guys knows that framework or not. That is kind of MVC framework that came way before Spring Boot. We do have a lot of like small microservices that are in Spring Boot, but yeah, mainly everything is in Java. our connect is in JavaScript, Node.js and AngularJS, if I'm right, I think. So that is a different team that handles that front-end project. So those guys also implement our API, same as our developers, you guys. Yeah, so it's pretty much that. We deploy all our services on Azure Cloud. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think pretty much it.
Okay. Can you hear us, Vikrant? Or...
Yeah, actually, it's fluctuating a little. I don't know
Okay.
if it's my network or yours.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yes, I heard you clearly. Mostly it is Java that we use for most of our system. So let me also ask another question first, a little bit backtracking. What product and what tools has we have built at Echo? What product tools, so that people have an idea that these are the different kind of systems that we have, or these are the different sort of microservices, or just to have a broad overview of what do we have in technology at Echo.
I'm sorry, I missed it a little. Is it question for me?
Yes, Vikrant. So what
Java.
tools, systems, what products, that different systems that we have?
I mean, if you go as product wise, I think on the broader level we have like three categories. APS, Aadhaar Enable Paying System. So we do integrate with a lot of banks to enable that. This is our like cash out product, and we like have multiple channels with multiple commission structure, and because availability also gets fluctuated. So we have a lot of backups for that as well. But at the end of your API partners, we provide a simplified solution, simplified APIs. Same goes with our second product like DMT, which is I think the more popular one. DMT is domestic money transfer, where you can like you are able to transfer money from using like typical RTGS or NEFT technologies. And yeah, and after that, I think the broader one is BVPS, bill payment recharge system. That is the one that I started working, I think, from the very starting, like from the scratch, I would say. I don't know. So apart from that, we have like newer services, loan service, LAS, that we are working on. So in that particular thing that we are planning is we will be able to provide loans directly to our merchant, our even our API partners merchant, and the whoever you are whoever you guys are developing for the platform for. So we'll be able to provide few APIs. By using those APIs, you'll be able to like import data of the target, let's say, customer who want to avail the loan, and we will be able to process that data with a lot of providers from the backend. But again, from your side, it will be one uniform, single kind of experience. I'm not able to think more. I'm pretty sure there are a lot more like small products, but on the broader level, I think these are the products that we have.
Yes.
नहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं
तुम्हारा
खाने में क्या पसंद करेंगे
okay, I muted it. Okay, so yeah, thanks for sharing. So there are multiple systems, multiple of things that we have, which people can use: AEPS, DMT, and loan. I think this is a new one. So one question that comes to mind, and I think the answer might be obvious, but I still want to ask: what is the challenge in building any such system, any money transfer system, or let's generalize a little bit? What's the challenge in building a fintech system in India? especially if you can also include any technical details, why technically it is not easy to build a fintech system in India.
Okay, so technically speaking, I think right off, window, whenever we try to integrate with, like I said, we integrate with lot of banks for same services. Let's say even for APS, we integrate with a lot of banks. The first and very obvious issue is all the banks have their kind of set of technologies. They don't do, and there are a lot more like banks. They have API, they expose their API in XML as well, like older versions of API that you guys might have might know. Even the SOAP, APIs they do expose, and those APIs are nasty, man. Uh, I mean, if you have somebody has worked both with those APIs, those are very tricky in terms of like what is the status of the transaction, if that transaction went through or not, and since it is a fintech transactions, we have a lot more to like talk over the APIs other than money and amount and transaction status. So it totally depends what type of bank we are integrating with, how good we can get a technology documentation. Yes, the documentation is this, I think I would say second one. Oftentimes we have to like go back to them, ask and clarify their documentation. Like the level of documentation that we have done is, I think it's top notch if you compare by the standard of our banks. They are still living in like I think 90s or something like that. Uh, so it's very difficult to decrypt their documentation and figuring that this is how it should be able to work. And if you are even a lot of time, if you ask something, they will be dumping all sort of documentation. So I mean, as a developer perspective, it is very difficult to kind of decrypt all those things. Technically speaking, handling those requests and everything. One of the major thing is, I think, as a being a fintech, is maintaining the status and holding the money and like letting everybody know what is the status of that particular transaction. And oftentimes what these bank will do, they will take in the transaction, they will respond it like with no proper status or information to us, and we will be stuck. We won't be able to update our customer as well, and we won't be able to kind of do any sort of next steps on that particular status. So and that will be very tricky cases also oftentimes, like if some other steps are depending on that particular transaction, like failed transaction, or let's say pending transaction, we'll be stuck. And the same goes with customer. And if we kind of like assume and allow our customer to go forward, then our customer experience will ultimately get worsen, just in case that transaction didn't actually go through. The same is also true if we try to hold back our customer. We are losing customer in that way. So technically, we have to maintain all sort of logs, all sort of re-queries, APIs, and whatnot. We have to be sure of what is going through, on each and every level for that particular transaction, or maybe subsequent of forwarding transactions, right? So yeah, designing a kind of very robust kind of system, nothing can go wrong, since it is a matter of money. And since we deal with very tier 3, tier 4 kind of clients, they are very eager on that money. If we kind of hold back a even 10 rupees for our customer, they are going to shout, and they are going to make a fuss about it. That is going to be very loud. So getting our operation team with proper response and everything, that is a major challenge, I would say.
Got it. Thank you for the answer. So in summary, what I hear is that it is a highly responsible task. It's of a developer to build a fintech system. It's not just another web app which you are building, but you are dealing with money, hard-earned money of the people. So there are no chances that you can could go wrong, and you need to make it reliable and robust, which takes a lot more effort than just building something like just building any another web application or mobile application. And and key challenges are like if you go deep down, is kind of integrating with other banks APIs and dealing with the changes, dealing with audits, logs, and all these things. And all these things are in a kind of there are other challenges as well, which are obvious, like regulatory challenges. You cannot just build a system to transfer money without following those regulatory guidelines. So not just technically, but you also need to learn those regulatory stuff. I remember that when I was with Eko as an engineer earlier, then I was learning about the semi-closed payment system in India and what regulations do we have. I read everything on RBI, downloaded lots of PDFs, and then I went to Abhishek, or I don't remember someone, but I told them that this is what I have learned and this is what I have found. They said that, have you read the amendment that happened just a year ago? So then I went back and then read that what RBI had published just after a year back after their previous regulation announcement. So these kind of changes happen in regulations as well. So building fintech in India is challenging at multiple fronts, and I think that's where the Eko comes, where it takes the stress of this regulation off, takes the stress of building this reliable and robust system of. Okay, so thanks a lot, Vikrant, for the answer. And so now we have a very reliable system, a robust system that has been working for decades. Can you do you have any data about the scale of engineering that we are doing here? Maybe shares like what were the highest transaction per second or any other metric that you follow here at Eko to track at what scale are we working?
I don't have any data like right off with me. Probably would have to get in touch with data analytics team. They do handle, monitor those type of data. I would I would be able to like estimate, but I don't think that would be a lot good.
Yeah, that's okay. So do you remember any outage that happened, like a server went down or people are not able to transact or something bad is happening? Did it happen any time recently or anything you remember?
So not very recent, but I do remember like 1 year back or so. So we did some changes on our platform. We did release some product, and based on that, some like transactions were not happening. So not related to that particular product, but different product was not able to perform, and those transactions was failing. And that too very intermittently, not like all the transactions are failing. Some transactions were failing, so we were not able to like pinpoint. So that was, I think, quite a event. Since we do releases on the night itself, and like we take down whole system and update everything, each and every node, and then come back live. We generally don't turn down our system on the day. We generally wait for like even for the bug fixes and patches. We will wait for next day midnight to do all sort of patches. But that is some event that day. I think that was some major issue. A lot of transaction was not going through, and we had to kind of roll back all the changes and work within the day and fix those changes and release it again in the night. I think that is the story of every developer, I would say. When you do make some changes, you miss out something sometime. You try to like minimize that, but it doesn't. It happened with Google and Facebook as well, so might not want to beat myself.
Right, and stress must be high because, as you said earlier, that this is a very serious matter, a very matter of responsibility, because a lot of people depend on our APIs, on our products. So how do you deal with that?
I mean, stress is one thing that like kind of pulls us as a developer, forward, and stress is directly proportional to the thrill factor, I would say. When you are into the game, into that particular, stressful situation, you are getting also thrilled to do some task neatly. And when you do that, on most of the time, we are able to do that. That gives you a like sense of I don't know, achievement, sense of like thrill that you have accomplished something. There was nothing broken, or everything was as planned as our code is, right? So that is something that we kind of aim for. And the stressful times that does come, and initially kind of it bothered me. I came from a like corporate background before Echo, and in corporate background, you don't really face the consequences directly. It trickles down from a very higher higher hierarchies of managers and whatnot. But since we are like this is like your child or your product that is going live, you are like directly responsible for your things. You get that thrill, or little sort of fear also. Okay, nothing can go bad, right? So that is part of the like fun, I would say. Okay, everything can go wrong, but we have to fix that. We have to avoid everything, and everything has to be neat, right?
Amazing. That's a great perspective to look at this. Thank you. So this brings me to related question. Maybe I'm not sure whoever handles maybe support or have seen the support request will be better suited to answer. So the question is how does a typical support issue looks like? What kind of common issues do we see, and how do we deal with that?
Uh, I think we did some stat on this as well. So Jyoti handles all those issues when you mail integration support. I think Jyoti is not here, but so integration, when you mail through integration support, or raise your request there, it go went to like it will go to her, and she will be like she will be doing the primary testing or primary validation on your request. So what we generally expect from the like from a developer perspective is request and response law. And but judging by that, and if you go by that data, most of the request response, like we when we scrutinize that, most of that problem comes from the documentation itself. So sometime developer might have missed some line or two from the documentation, and he has forgot to mention that particular flag or parameter, or some kind of constraint on that particular parameter. So just I do advise for that key. Please double check your documentation if you are passing the correct APIs. And normally, just by comparing with the examples that we have given on developer portal, even myself, when an issue comes to me, like Jyoti, when it get raised to me, like there's a bug or problem in a system, I typically go to developer portal and copy the whatever example that we have pasted there, and then compare it with the request that we have received, the bugful request. Generally, oftentimes, I would say 90% of the time, it is something related to that developer portal or documentation. So, and very less, I think, like percentage of the time, I would say it will be a issue from our end, or the service end, or from the bank's end. And even less, I would say it would be from our side. I mean, I feel a little proud on saying that. I know it's a like boasting, but that is a statistic. I'm not making these numbers up. If you believe me.
I can relate to that. And so I think what learning is that mostly people missed a line in documentation, didn't follow what we have mentioned in the docs, and then they faced that problem. So probably learning is that just double check the docs and be more patient with documentation. and probably that will fix your issue instead of going through that cycle of asking question or maybe raising a support request. Just check if you have followed the documentation properly. And I can relate to that because when I was starting out in my early my developer career, then I wouldn't have that much patience that I have right now. Now I will go to, if I'm integrating any APIs, I'll go to the documentation, read it patiently, and then just do it step by step. But in my earlier career, how would I work is that I'll just uh, uh, enter the whatever question I have, I'll just enter on Google or maybe somewhere wherever I can search. Or if I can ask someone, I'll just ask that. And then just whatever I see there, which is kind of a piece of information, not complete guide. And I'll just try that and see if it works or not. So this was the kind of behavior that I had in early in my career. But as soon as I started seeing that this is actually leading to more wasting more time for me, then I started reading documentation. And I think that there is one tool as well for this documentation which makes all these documentations offline. So even DevDocs, I think it's called DevDocs. So I started using that tool to just because sometimes my internet is not working, but I still want to work. So and also searching on Google or somewhere else, it reduces our speed. So what I do is the most things that I use in my development environment, like I'll use, let's say, any JavaScript framework, let's say React, then I'll just have its documentation in offline. Or let's say if anything else, let's say Bootstrap, then I'll have its documentation. Or if I integrating any API, I'll have its documentation offline. So this solves a lot of, it speeds up my work. I think many developers that I have met, they also tell me that this has improved their workflow. Instead of going to Google and searching that, hey, this is the problem I have, rather just directly go to the documentation and just read it. It is available offline or online, but what I'm saying is that just go to the documentation and read it step by step. Probably this will be much faster than the other way that you have. And combine that, and of course, yes, we can always work on documentation. How we can make documentation even brief and more actionable, and so that people don't miss those details. But yeah, I think this is a great learning that we should be more patient, we should be more attentive while reading documentation. Okay, thank you for this answer. I guess, okay, so we are about to, so we'll take 5 to 10 minutes more, and then we will move on to questions. Okay, so about, I would want to, let's move on to the future. What do we want, what's coming in Eko? Is there anything new thing happening in engineering, or any product, any new product coming? Is there any update that anyone would want to share? Priyanka, Vikrant, Abhishek, anyone?
From engineering side, I think LAS is the thing that I mentioned before also. Loan as a service, we are working on API for simplifying API for those things. We have already launched this service on our platform, on our Eko Connect. We have still not fully furnished those APIs for you guys, because we want to keep it more simplified and very cut to the chase. We are still working on that, and in future you will be able to use that. There are more products, I think probably from somebody from business can take up.
Got it. Understood.
Yeah, so Pradeep, there is has been a constant demand from the market, from the partners that we help enable, probably I would say enable for such transactions, and even our network for to increase the limit of DMT. So what the guideline says that the maximum one phone number on a number can be transferred is 25,000. So there has been constant demand in the market of increasing the limit from 25,000, and that is only possible if the KYC of the merchant and the sender is done. Only then that limit can be increased. So we have integrated one product with Yes Bank, which increases the limit from 25,000 to 2 lakh rupees. We have already done testing internally and with some of the partners in our network. Rather, I would say merchant in our network. We are going live with that product probably in a day or two's time, and then we will launch the same product once it is tested on our network. We will launch it. We'll launch the APIs for our developer network.
I'm sorry, can you summarize it for people? What's coming in one
So
line?
this is KYC product which increases the limit of DMT from 25,000 rupees to 2 lakh rupees.
Okay, got it. So it increases limits to 2 lakh. Okay,
Yeah, from 25,000.
got it. Awesome. That's great. Are we releasing these things this month or maybe?
Yeah. Definitely. We'll release it for our network and then we'll release it for probably by end of the month. My projection says by end of the month we will have the release for our API network too.
Got it. Awesome. So can we make this public? Is this, or should we keep it to our meeting only, this news?
No, we should keep it to our meeting today, but definitely once we launch it for our network and we see that it is working absolutely fine, then probably we can, or once the documentation at least on the API side is ready, we can release.
Got it. Awesome. Sounds great. Okay, so I guess I will open the floor for everyone to ask question if you have for engineering team or anyone at Eko. I see Kumar Alam and someone you joined later. Would you want to introduce yourself as well?
Okay, so I have a question regarding the early adaptation of this Eko platform. Like, how difficult was it to actually get a new customer as a new company or someone starting in this field, in this fintech field? And how difficult was it, and how did you manage this competition with the big players out there?
So basically, how did we get the first customers for Eko, and how hard was this competition? How did we deal with the competition? I think that will be a question for Abhishek. Would you want to take this up? I think I can't hear him. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know if I should answer this question. Abhinav, do you want to take that? Priyanka may want to take it.
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat the question? I might have missed it. Hello.
So the question is, how did we get our first customers, and how did we deal with the competition? Let's start with first question. How did we get first customers?
So, customers, in specifically, are you talking about specific service or in general?
I'm talking about in general.
Okay. So, on getting new customers, it actually depends upon to understand what our customer requires, right? To understand the requirement, to formulate the product accordingly, and then knowing what they would be willing to pay for that particular product. It's something that we have to work on the product and the pricing first to understand what customer, to basically prioritize the customer and understand his requirements. And then we can actually go to the customer and pitch them our products, whether it's any service altogether. We once we are done with the pricing and the product and understand the customer's requirement, then only we would be able to go to the customer and explain them about the product and how that product would be able to solve their pain points. I hope this answers your question.
Yes, it kind of does. But regarding this, whenever there is a money or monetary things are involved, do you think that an element of trust is also required? For example, trusting a new company that's just starting up and giving them my money to perform certain actions, as compared to somebody else who's been there in the market for 10 or 20 years.
That is,
So
yes.
the new customers, how did you build that trust?
So if you are a complete startup and you are trying to build that trust, so first of all, you have to start with a specific segment and specific customers. You have to build that trust with the customer. First, you have to might have to get in touch with them directly, or visit them regularly to start build that trust, right? So you might pitch your product to one or two customers and basically getting their feedbacks and asking them to test your product and share their feedbacks with you. And once they give you their feedback, positive or negative, and you work on it, then you can sort of expand to a few more customers, and slowly probably you might be able to get 10-15 customers, and then they would basically tell their network about your products, and that might be able to help you expand. And similarly goes as digital marketing as well. So you can get more customers via digital marketing by actually displaying the feedback on your website of your current customers and how satisfied they are.
I'll actually just add here is that, as far as the end customer's money is concerned, and I'm assuming that you are not talking about the intermediary developer or the enterprise. As part of the APIs, we absolutely do compliance checks with the transaction. So the APIs are extended in a manner where those regulatory transaction limits and checks are absolutely applied for each and every transaction.
Right. So I would also want to add to this question, like how do you get first customer? How do you build trust? And initially, I think it is almost always hustling. You just go to someone or that they will be someone who will get benefit from your product, and then you deliver that value. And once you deliver that, they become your channel to bring more customers. And I could feel it very strongly when I talk to the Eko developers, people who are building with Eko APIs. I talked to so many developers, and everyone, not a single one who was other than, they all came from someone mentioning Eko. They had just something in mind that I want to build something like this money transfer application. Now, what do I do? And someone else told them that you should use Eko. They didn't come to website. They didn't uh, see any ad or anything, but they came because someone in the market knew that Eko is there. Eko has been there solving this particular problem, and they do it very well. And this is why they mentioned. And even when you talked about competition, there is a lot of competition in this market. And but these people trust Eko because it has been there for quite a long time and has been solving the problem and have deep relationship with this segment, this customer segment, this people who are target audience. So I think that's the two things. One is that you hustle initially and you deliver them value, and then they will get you the new customers. Okay, so I guess we are. It's been almost 1 hour, so I guess we would want to bind up now. I see some new people, Rajiv and someone else, JAGO. Would you like to introduce yourself or ask any question to Eko team?
Yeah, so I can introduce myself. I'm Rajiv, and I think I've just joined to observe the developer community, what kind of questions they're asking. I myself don't have any specific question at this point in time, but I can pitch in for some of the answers. Considering I know Eko from very close quarters, I can answer some of the questions from a third-person perspective.
Welcome to community, Rajiv. Are you using Eko APIs already or planning to use?
Not yet. I might be using in the future.
Okay, got it. Understood. So I think this brings us to something, the next thing, the last thing, which is gathering feedback. What should we do here in this community? I think that should come from the community itself. That this is the next step we should take for community. What kind of events or what activities should we do here? What support we can provide? Whatever information you can share. So I guess Rajiv, would you like to share any thoughts that you have on that?
Yeah, so I'm a developer.
We can't hear you, Rajiv.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. What I was saying is, as a developer myself, I would be interested in knowing what kind of a platform Eko supports, or what kind of ready-to-use solutions Eko might be having, or sometimes kind of inspiration, what kind of products I can build using Eko APIs. So there has to be some inspiration, some product stack or tool stack, and also a third thing would be around what is the support mechanism built into the APIs what Eko provides.
All right, amazing. That's much useful feedback, Rajiv. And yes, so I have noted this down, and for now I made this channel in the Discord where we will be gathering people what they are building with Eko APIs, and support channel is there where you can ask question. If you are using Eko APIs and run into any problem, you can ask questions there. And there are other channels as well, like you can email and all other things, but I would say use this channel for now and see if it solves your problem. And then what kind of products? I think this is where we can work on to explain that these are the things that you can do, or this is the product that you should use for this use case. Interesting, very useful feedback. So keep an eye on this Discord channel, and a lot of content will be coming in coming weeks. So okay, so I guess that's about it. This is a useful. This was a very useful meetup, according to me, because we get to learn what are the technical challenges in building a fintech system. We learn what's new coming in Eko, and we got to know story of different uh, support. Sorry, we also learned about the common support question or common challenge, like docs related challenge, people not reading docs. So we learned that, and lots of stories, and we also have recommendations on web series and movies now. So that was a pretty useful time spent for me. How about you? Any last words? Anyone? Any feedback? No? Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead. Hear you.